It is Thursday, March 6, 2025. This is a very special edition of Football Today. You know Bobby Skinner and Justin Penik. I'm Chris Rose. Producer Connor is here as well, but we are joined by the guy who likes to walk around the office and be known as the Football King at John Boy Media, Dalton Feeney. Is that it, right? That's it, Bobby? Dalton Feeney,
No,
right?
we call him Chalk Dalton. Chalk Dalton.
Chalk Dalton. Okay. You okay, Dalt?
You guys are unbelievable. That's all I have to say. Is this what the Football Today guys do?
This
is
is it.
Crazy.
This is it. We are nuts. We are nuts. Well, you're here because we are doing our free agency football draft. You've seen us do it before in the baseball world. It's a ton of fun. You all get to make fun of us for our terrible picks because we'll probably go over 32. Here's the first of all, is everybody excited for this, Bobby?
I'm very excited. I've got a list of 34 players with destinations, so I got a little extra too, just in case. So I'm ready to roll. I got a couple of reunions that are going to be coming up. It's going to be fun.
Wow.
Penik?
I am very excited.
Dalton?
Very excited. A little nervous. The butterflies are back. My first draft. We've done it for Talking Baseball. You were on it this offseason. But, you know, football's a little different breed. I'm with football guys. I'm excited but nervous.
Of course I was on it. I invented the thing for Talking Baseball. They
Oh,
hijacked
my
it
gosh.
so they could put it on their program and make their numbers look better.
Heck yeah.
So this is what we're all about at John Boy Media, is sharing the wealth. All right, a few simple rules. It's a snake draft, just like your fantasy draft. We're going to go 8 rounds, so each team will have 8 players on it. If you pick a player to go back to his most recent destination and you nail it, you get 5 points. If you send him to a new place and you nail it, you get 10 points. There are also bonus points. 5 points if the guy was a Pro Bowler last season. 5 points if he was a Super Bowl champion. So let's just use Zach Bond as a perfect example. If you have him going to the Dallas Cowboys and you nail it, you would get 10 points because he sent him to a new team, 5 points because he was a Pro Bowler, and 5 points because he was a Super Bowl champion. So Zach Bond could be worth 20 points if you find a new correct destination. Does it make sense for everybody?
Yes.
Heck yeah.
Okay. We have
And 5 points if he stays with the Eagles.
That's it. Correct. 5 points if he stays with, but he can't do both, Bobby. Now you're confusing me.
I know. I did that on purpose.
Thank you. All right, so draft order. I created it on my own. This is the way we're doing it. Bobby, our wedding gift to you is to draft first today.
Wow.
That's not a great gift for a snake draft, but that's okay.
I thought it'd be nice. No?
Can I go fourth?
No, you're going to go first. Dalton, because you're the guest today, you're going to go second.
All right.
Penik, just because you're going to go third. And I'll go, I guess I'll go fourth and fifth. I'll be at the end of this snake.
Okay.
How's that sound?
Wow.
Sorry.
Let's do it.
All right, up first on the clock, the newly nuptialed Bobby Skinner.
Well, my former person who I was, linked to and was a big part of my life, Daniel Jones is going to the Indianapolis Colts with the first pick.
Right
How do you
out
like
the
that,
gate.
Dalton? Out of the gate. That's the one I feel the most confident with. I can't go for, I got some 5-pointers, ready to shoot up later. But I got to go out there with a 10-point one to start that I feel confident in if I have the first pick.
So what's your actual first pick, I think? Because we started, right? I mean,
Dalton,
What's going
come
on?
Don't rip on him like that.
I mean, Dalton, you're plugged in. You know the rumors, right? Like Daniel Jones is going to the Colts.
I know. I'm just very pessimistic about it. If it
He
happens.
may
As a
be your
Colts
best
guy.
quarterback in
He's going to win the job.
in some years too.
Yeah. Hey, Bobby, would you have made this pick if Chris Ballard hadn't come out and said, hey, we got an open competition?
I didn't know he said that, so yes. But I just been paying attention to rumors. And listen, if I had the third or fourth pick, but I got 8 picks until my next one. I had to take a 10-point swing with something I feel the most confident. And to be honest, there's no other new destination ones that I'm plugged in enough to where I think it's going to happen. So Daniel Jones to the Colts with my first pick. How about that?
Okay, good, good. Guest star Dalton.
So, before we all started, you guys called me Chalk Feely, Chalk Dalton. And do you know what? I'm all about reunions. I like bringing people back together. Sometimes the best marriage is what's already happening. Chris Godwin, man, he is a great fit for that Bucs offense. I know we think of Mike Evans as the Bucs guy, but Godwin is number 2 in basically every receiving category in Tampa Bay. Why have him leave? Keep that offense consistent. That 11 personnel with him, Mike Evans, McMillan, who broke out after Godwin got hurt last year, plus Baker Mayfield being great in back-to-back seasons. Keep him in Tampa Bay. Keep that offense consistent after losing your offensive coordinator in back-to-back seasons.
You truly are Chalk Dalton. That is my number one, easiest return to their destination guy.
Points on the board.
Actually, excuse me, there's one other guy. But good job, Chalk Dalton.
Hey, points on the board or points on the board, Bobby.
Okay, Penik.
I'm rooting for Godwin to either go to the Patriots or the Rams. Let the record show. I've been saying it for a long time. Think it may happen. Sam Darnold is going to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think it just makes sense. Get your contract, a little bit of a big swing. The Steelers are in this no man land, and that would be an investment at quarterback, probably the biggest investment that they've made since Big Ben has retired.
Isn't the rumors that he's staying with the Vikings, though, right, Justin? Crossroads,
Well,
Dalton?
He didn't tag, but
No tag.
no tag. But I honestly think, if you're Sam Darnold, another team is going to pay you more than what the Minnesota Vikings are going to offer. So why not take that bag while it's there? You're coming off an insane season.
Yeah, I think the biggest question for Darnold this offseason is anyone going to give him a long-term deal? Because, the Vikings drafted McCarthy. He gets hurt on that rookie contract. Are they going to be willing to give Darnold an extended length of contract after his 2024 season? I don't know.
The issue is I don't know how many teams are fully buying into Sam Darnold because we know that Vikings offense and how, it's every quarterback, he'd be great in the Vikings offense, right? It's basically if you can't put up 300 yards in the Vikings offense, you don't belong in the NFL. And I think teams are just, with the way it ended, are you know what, I'm not going all out for that. If it gets reasonable, sure. And then I think he may just want to stay with the Vikings if that's the case.
Plus, the Steelers did have guys that each started at least 4 games that are both free agents right now. I would be shocked if one of those guys, in particular Justin Fields, didn't return to Pittsburgh.
Why not both?
I don't think both will. I think that one will. I think there's enough openings around the league right now, and with the quarterback uncertainty in this draft class, I think both those guys will have starting jobs, and I think one of them will be in Pittsburgh. That's what I think. But I like the big swing, Penik. I like the swing. Because you know what? If you nail it, you'll get 15 points.
Boom.
He was a Pro Bowler a season ago. All right, so I got the next 2 picks. The Los Angeles Rams have a lot of good things going for them, right? Matthew Stafford is returning. We know they're moving on from Cooper Kupp. But defensively, they're young and they're set, except at one position. In the middle of the field, they're kind of weak at linebacker, in my opinion. And this is not a great linebacker draft. They don't have a ton of picks. I think they've got 5 selections this year. I think they need a leader in the middle of that defense that can bring it all together and take them to another level, and I think Nick Bolton is that guy. Ooh. He's a former Super Bowl champ, right? He returned a fumble for a touchdown in Super Bowl 57. I think he's a really good player. He's still only in his mid-20s. He's a good leader. He's a guy you can count on, and I think it makes sense out there with the Rams.
I love that, Rose. I really do. Bolton Spags talks so highly of him being the Patrick Mahomes on that defense. I had him at Dallas, but the Rams, I think, could even be a better spot for him. He's a leader of the defense, and they, like you said, really need that.
And so I'm going to double up on defense and Super Bowl champions. I always look for guys who take jobs, first-time coaches, and they need guys that can get their message out, right? Dudes who have played for him, and say, hey, listen, this is the way he is. Let's do it. Carlton Davis, I believe, only spent 1 year in Detroit with Aaron Glenn, but it was a good one. And I think that Carlton Davis is going to the Jets because I don't think that DJ Reed is going to stick around, so they're going to need somebody opposite Sauce Gardner. Good veteran, has won a Super Bowl before. That would be extra points as well. I've got Carlton Davis going to the NYJ.
coming off the injury. I actually had Carlton Davis he was one of my reunion guys. The Bucks did a reunion with Jordan Whitehead the year before.
Mm-hmm.
I actually thought that could be a reunion guy. Them getting him for maybe a little bit cheaper, but back makes, like you said. I think Aaron Glenn is going to try and bring in guys that he likes. So
okay, Penik, you're back up.
Speaking of reunions, speaking of Super Bowl champs, this guy could go elsewhere, maybe get a lot of money. But also, if I'm the Philadelphia Eagles and I'm Howie Roseman, I'm looking at Zach Bond saying, how can we let this guy walk out? How can we let him just leave?
Penik, you the only guy on the board that could be worth 20 points, right?
And I'm reducing his value, and I'm going to draft him on my team. The Philadelphia Eagles cannot let Zach Bond leave. You have this great example of a player that you got off the scrap heap. You gave him basically a vet minimum contract. You changed his position. He became an all-pro player for you. Keep that guy in the building. Bring back Zach Bond. Pay him a little bit of money. You're treating your players right. You gave Barkley the extension. Treat Zach Bond right.
Okay.
Sorry. I think I just poo-pooed on
It's just
the parade.
That's the most value someone can get in this draft, and you're like, nah, let's just scrap it. Just go.
No,
for five.
there's
other
another
ones.
guy.
There are other ones. I take
There's
my
other
word
ones.
back, but
Okay.
still. All right, Dalton.
Well, it's very funny that Penik went to the Eagles defense because I'm also going to go there, but I'm going to do a little bit of a change. Josh Sweat is a premier edge rusher. I think he's somehow still underrated in the NFL. I think he's going to leave Philly, and he's going to reunite with a former coach, and that would be with Jonathan Gannon in Arizona.
Boom! I had
in
that
the
too.
desert.
I had
Bam!
that
Let's go,
too.
brother.
That away.
Okay. All right. I'll split the points with you. I'm generous.
No, you don't have to split points. It's your turn.
All right, I really wasn't going to. I'm kind of lying, but that's okay. Listen, Josh Sweat, man, the Cardinals need an edge rusher badly. Over the last 2 seasons, no one has eclipsed over 6 sacks on that defense. Yep. They need someone big time. They have the 4th most cap. Gannon gets to bring in a guy that he knows. I think it's a perfect marriage for that Cardinals defense.
Good one. Bobby, you thought we weren't going to hear from you for like hours, and look,
well, I got
already
scared
back.
twice because guess what? I have a Philadelphia Eagle leaving, and it's Milton Williams.
Can I guess where you have him going?
The team with the most cap space in the NFL, Chris Rose?
No, God, really? You went to the Patriots, huh?
Yes, he's going to the Patriots. Believe it or not. Believe it. I'm cheating a little bit. I actually looked up some rumors and stuff on this, which maybe you don't buy into, but Milton Williams, Super Bowl champion, going to the Patriots. They got a lot of money. They're a team that I think should use their money while they have Drake May. And all these contracts will expire by the time you're having to pay Drake May, and you make new decisions then. So I'm going Milton. I'm taking another swing, Milton Williams to the Patriots, and then I'm gonna do a safe.
Can I
pick.
say one thing before you move on?
Yeah,
I will say this. I had the good fortune of calling not one but 2 Patriots games, one over in London and one at home against the Chargers, and they got throttled in both. As bad as their offensive line was, and it was historically poor in my opinion, the defensive line was not much better. It really wasn't. And does it work? Well, it'll be interesting to see what sort of defense they're going to run up there now under new leadership with Mike Vrabel. I would imagine they go 4-3, so they're going to need some guys on the inside. And Williams has got that versatility where you can pop them outside, too, on passing downs. Right?
Right.
So
right.
It does make sense. It's just I always worry about guys who he's had a solid run in Philadelphia, and he's going to make a ton of money wherever he goes, but then he could, disappear in New England.
Yeah, it's probably going to be an overpay. A lot of these interior guys that you want them to put up, close to 10 sack production with 20-some QB hits, but a lot of these guys are overpaid. Like Jones from Seattle just got cut. I think that for that very same reason, a solid player, but you kind of have to overpay at that position.
Well, that's the way free agency goes. We get so excited about it, and when a guy signs a 4-year deal, inevitably he's gone after 2.
It's the cycle. Cap casualties come about too. It's kind of crazy how free agency works because a guy could sign for a massive deal, and 2 years later the guarantees are no more. Yep. They can cut him and they're out.
All right. So Bobby, sorry to interrupt you, but
no, you're good. Good. I'm going to take my first layup. And if this guy retires this year, I'm going to be so mad because he signed 1-year contracts with the Bucks every single year. Levante David. I mean, he's going back to Tampa Bay if he's playing. If he's not playing, or if he doesn't go back to the Bucks, that means he's retired. So I'm going Levante David back to the Bucks. He signs 1-year deals every year.
By the way, do you think he gets Hall of Fame consideration?
Yes, consideration, but I think if he gets in, he'll be like a guy who gets in after 10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
He's a good player. Really good player. Could do a lot of things really well.
He is, but Luke Kuechly not getting in first ballot is
That was
Bonkers.
kind of insane.
Bonkers.
horrible. Dalton.
You know, Rose, you kind of scared me a little bit bringing up the Patriots' offensive line woes, especially with you calling 2 games this season. I remember you calling the Chargers game that Saturday game. That was a crazy blowout. But anywho, going back to the Patriots and offensive line, I think Ronnie Stanley is the biggest left tackle in football. You have a rookie quarterback in Drake May. You got to protect him, right? You have the money. You have the space with a quarterback on a rookie contract. Protect the man, Ronnie Stanley. The biggest question for him, the biggest question with him, can he stay healthy? He played 17 games last year, but prior to that had not played more than 14 games since 2019. His only all-pro selection was in 2019. If he gets back to that form, he can be worth the contract, but he's shown flashes of him being a really good left tackle, and hopefully he could do that again in New England, protecting Drake May.
Pretty Ricky say he's going to get an extension, Bobby?
I don't pay attention to Pretty Ricky anymore.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow, really? You're out on him.
Yeah. All right, so we'll see about Ronnie Stanley.
You think-
Maybe I'm saying maybe he stays in Baltimore.
I think he's staying in Baltimore too.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think he's moving on. I think they'll get somebody else in free agency. Maybe I'll make a pick there later.
Ooh,
To me, the
spoiler.
interesting thing is that New England at 4 is going to have their choice of best offensive lineman, and
Or Travis Hunter.
it is or Travis Hunter, perhaps. yeah.
Okay.
But I think Vrabel's no dummy. He knows how you win in this league. You got to build up front. He's not a moron. They're going to take the best offensive lineman that they deem in this draft as well. I think it's a good
Rose,
move.
do you think that's a slam dunk at 4? New England's going offensive line. There's like
think they
no.
Dalton, when I tell you how bad the offensive line was last year, so I did the second game with Ross Tucker, who's one of my favorites. Former offensive lineman around the league. Be kind of a spot starter here and there, and he's just hilarious. He's really bright. He went to Princeton. He was Kyle Brandt's roommate the whole bit. And when he gets upset, he gets on a roll. He's like, Chris, this is the worst offensive line I think I've ever seen. I've been following the NFL for 24 years. When I tell you it's the worst, the worst. There you go. It's my Ross Tucker.
Which,
That's
like,
good.
preseason,
Good
it was
impression.
just like, why did the Patriots think this was the play for this year? Why did they not do anything other than, re-signing Onwenu? But
Yeah. All right. Penik.
All right, the Commanders were starting to bring in
left hand up.
49er left hand up her way. We're starting to bring in 49er reclamation projects. So how about Javarius Ward going to the Commanders? They need corners. They need outside help. Commanders have a lot of money to spend, and I think a lot of that should be on the defensive side of the ball. Javarius Ward going to the Commanders. I kind of struggled between either him or DJ Reed going to the Commanders, but I landed on Ward because of the 49er connection.
The corners are the hardest to predict because I feel like it's the most rich part of the class. So it's just like you don't know how those dominoes are going to start falling.
Just find the teams with the most cap space and just start plugging them in.
Panic, I love that. Yeah.
Everybody, everyone to the Patriots. They have the money to sign everyone.
They really do. They really do. Okay, I love to shoot my shot for bonus points, and it never has worked out for me in the baseball draft, but I am praying to the football gods that this one works out. I think the Raiders at 6 are not going to be able to get a quarterback, one that they love right now. Tom Brady, I think, has his fingerprints all over this organization with John Spytek coming in. There's no way Brady wants to win 3 or 4 games. It is not in his DNA. So even if he goes out and gives a little bit of money to Russell Wilson to rejoin forces with Pete Carroll, so be it. So, Russ.
Producer Connor, by the way, is a Raiders fan. Just took off his glasses and rubbed his head.
Visibly reacted upset.
Visibly
Didn't it-
frustrated.
But Pete Carroll won that breakup, right? Like I don't think like that's a reunion that's getting back together.
I'm telling you, I think it's going to happen. I think they're going to go relive Super Bowl 49. They're all going to watch together as to, how Malcolm Butler ended up winning this game and Brady jumping up and down like a sophomore in high school going, hee hee, hee hee, hee hee. We're going to see that. But I just had to do something with the points that are out there. He's a Pro Bowler this year and a former Super Bowl champion. So when he ends up in Las Vegas, I will gladly take those 20 points. Yum, yum,
Russ
yum.
Cook 2.0.
Yeah, yum, yum, yum. So the Raiders are going to be the even Steven this time around for me. They'll bring one guy in, but they're going to lose another guy in Malcolm Kuntz. He's been a really solid football player, and he is heading east and south. Although I think it's probably almost a direct line from Las Vegas to Atlanta if you were to shoot it right across the board. The Falcons, like the last 6 years, have been the worst pass rushing team when you're talking about in totality. They need a guy that can help them out a little bit. And I think that Malcolm Kuntz is that guy. So I'm sending him to the ATL.
How about that? They need it.
that?
They need everything they can up on that defensive front.
Oh, yeah. They need a lot of help. Penik.
Now this is an interesting pivot point.
What makes it interesting? Tell me.
Yeah.
Or do you just not have somebody ready?
Are you
Fine
No,
time.
no, I have a lot of people ready. I just don't know.
Get the draft clock going, folks. He's going to have to forfeit his pick. It's going to be a whole ordeal.
Cam Robinson.
Ooh, big Cam Robinson.
Getting a call from Cam Robinson right now from Arlington, Virginia. Not going to answer. Now, I have two teams written down. And I'm going to go with one because that's the name of the game. I'm going to go with the Bears. Cam Robinson to the Bears. And I think the Bears, in round one, instead of taking a tackle, because they do need a tackle. I like their right tackle and Darnell Wright, but I think they need a left tackle. Cam Robinson, you could be left tackle, and then Ashton Genty, you are a Chicago Bear. And I've now fallen in love with that idea and concept since they've been very, very aggressive, or not even aggressive. They've been somewhat aggressive in the trade market, getting these offensive linemen, Jonah Jackson and Joe Thuney. You would maybe want to call it aggressive, but they haven't even been that aggressive since they're giving up day 3 picks for a really good offensive lineman. So, how about Cam Robinson, Chicago Bear, left tackle?
Okay. He's fine. I think they can do
Wow.
better.
They probably could.
I think they could do better with the amount of cap space they've got and their draft position. But I understand it. It's good thought.
I think Cam Robinson's the best left tackle on the market. No, am I forgetting somebody big? Ronnie
I like
Stanley.
I like Stanley better. It's just the
Yeah.
health for him.
If Stanley leaves the Ravens, then yes, he is the best left tackle on the market for sure.
Yeah, he's fine. Okay. Dalton.
It's time to do a little home cooking. Penik, I will not be doing my Chris Ballard impression. I'm sorry to let you down.
Okay.
But listen, the Colts are known to not spend in free agency, but that seat is as hot as it's ever been for Chris Ballard in Indianapolis right now. You bring in Lou Anarumo as your defensive coordinator, and where his defense strives is when you have a really good safety. Javon Holland of the Miami Dolphins, I think, is, again, a very good safety, and he's going to play that Jesse Bates role. Maybe not as good range-wise in comparison to Jesse Bates, but he's going to play that role in the Indianapolis defense. And granted, we saw Anarumo's defense fall apart last year, but a lot of it was because of guys left, like Jesse Bates, like DJ Reader, like Chidobe Awuzie. The Colts need some playmakers on the back end of that defense. They are very young in the secondary, and Javon Holland fits them perfectly with Lou Anarumo as DC.
Okay.
Javon Holland is a Panther.
I had him as what did I have him? I just retyped it.
I had him as a Panther too, by the way.
Rose.
Oh, so Rose is double dipping with some of us. Okay.
I had him as a Bronco. Like they just want to keep on
like
getting
that too.
stronger and stronger.
Yeah, I thought about him there. I just don't know what they think of DJ Locke, but okay.
Yeah. And
All
so
right.
I got back to back again.
Yes, you do.
I don't want to keep doing things that are Giants related, but I'm thinking about it. You know what? We got to get this guy off the board. And I hate the fact that I'm hoping for this. I really do. But I'm going Aaron Rodgers does not leave East Rutherford, New Jersey. He stays in it, and he's going to Big Blue New York Giants. Highlight it right now, Bobby. Put it in the color code that you have for your own name. Aaron Rodgers is the next New York Giants quarterback. And
I had that too.
And as much as I, have
Double up.
probably going bad, I am excited about it.
We'll double up too. Don't you have another pick? Because if Rodgers is going to the Giants, then somebody else is also coming with him.
I could do that. You know what?
Fair
I am
point.
going to do the double up because
Oh my God.
the other pick I have, I think I can get later. I'm doubling up. We're discount doubling up. Devontae Adams to the New York Giants. How about that, baby?
Did
How
you
about
have that before Penik mentioned it?
I
you
did,
have
but
him going
that
to the
wasn't
Giants?
going to be my pick there.
But you did have him going to the Giants, huh?
Yeah, I did.
See, I think that at this point, Devontae's like, listen, the Giants aren't going to win shit this year.
But they love
at
each
least
other.
want a shot.
They love
Dalton,
each other.
where did you have where
There's
did
a
you guys
Tuck
have him
house.
going? Where did you guys have him going?
I had Devontae Adams going to the Chargers.
That's
I think
where
they need a big.
Dalton?
Look, it would have been fun. Him and McConkey.
Totally. I think that's the perfect place for him.
They need size on the outside. Sorry, Quentin Johnston,
Absolutely.
you're not getting it done. It would have been fantastic fit, but alas, he's.
I
following
agree.
his buddy.
Listen, I agree, but they love each other. He has a Taco Bell in his house.
Well,
Penik,
Devontae
where
Adams
did you
and
have
Aaron
him going?
Devontae?
Yeah.
Well, wherever Aaron Rodgers goes. I think that's still a thing.
So where did you have Aaron Rodgers going?
So, I mean, I think he's going to be a Giant.
Did you have it on your paper, or are you just making this up in your head right now?
No, I didn't have it on my paper because I wasn't going to go there this episode.
Oh.
But I wasn't going to take Rodgers, because then I would have talked about the Giants, and I wanted to avoid that.
Were you saving it for our next free agency draft show that we're not doing?
I knew that somebody else was going to do it, and then I would have been like, I disagree. I think he's going to New York.
I actually had Rodgers and Russell Wilson as Giants, and I was just going to pick whoever. I was going to pick second on the quarterback
Yes.
if I had the opportunity.
Yes.
So
There you go.
The new headline: Talking Giants hosts believe Rodgers savior of New York Giants football.
Nope, we didn't say he would save it. We just think that he's coming.
there'll be a short out soon saying that.
What would your Penik scale of 1 to 10? How excited would you be if that combo joined the Giants?
It'd be a 7. Like, do I think anything great's going to come out of it? No, but
It'd be the best offense we've had in like a long time, which is sad, but still the truth.
it would be the best quarterback play we've had since 2015 Eli Manning. And that's, we're looking at, that's a decade ago.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think we have to be honest with ourselves, even though and I thought Rodgers played pretty well the last 10 games of the year. Any team that gets him, there's a little juice there. Like, there's interest, there's national interest in it, and the guy could still play a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of fun.
And I think he's pissed off.
Fine.
You wouldn't
He's
like him when
Aaron's
he's
always
angry.
pissed off, All right, Dalton.
We have Justin. That's our off-season Talking Giants episodes. We do the Awushka or whatever you call it. If we get Aaron Rodgers,
Ayahuasca?
ayahuasca. Yeah.
You're going to do the show on
No
ayahuasca?
way.
No, we're just gonna do like a Talking Giants trip. We got offered to do like a Talking
kind of
Giants
trip?
cruise. By the way,
Oh, we
Really?
did. Oh, that's right, we did.
Are you sure that's not one of those funny cruises that maybe you got asked to go on?
no,
like a
it
Diddy
was. It was.
situation.
They were trying to get us to sponsor it, and get people to sign up. And we're like, you know what? Who's not going to do this? Anybody. So we're not doing the Talking Giants cruise.
Mighty Mighty Daltons?
You know what? There would be like 2 people to do it, and those are probably 2 people I don't want to be around on a cruise. So it worked out.
Yes.
If I didn't take Javon Holland before Bobby did back-to-back Giants, I would make fun of him for his own home cooking, but that's okay. I am going to stay in the NFC East. The Commanders had an impressive run last year. I think one area that they're going to have to revamp is that defensive line. Jonathan Allen's requested a trade. Dante Fowler Jr. is a free agent who led the team in sacks. Khalil Mack, just turned 34 years old.
You bitch.
Thank you. I love hearing that. He just turned 34 years old. He wants a ring. He's a very accomplished pass rusher. He's pretty much a bona fide Hall of Famer at this point for how good he's been. I think he wants to play for that ring, take advantage of that Jaden Daniels rookie contract. They have one of the most cap in football this offseason. Help that defense and Dan Quinn out.
Can I tell you something? You took my number 1 reunion. I had him going back to the Bears.
Interesting. Would he want? Do you guys think he would want to go back to Chicago?
He was loved in Chicago. I know it probably didn't end the best way, but he was loved there. But I did have a you know what? I'll save it because I'm going to use it later. So how about that?
Ooh. Okay.
All right, Penik.
All right. How about Cameron Bynum going to the Jets. How about that? Because the Jets haven't had a safety basically since, I feel like, Jamal Adams. They made a lot of mistakes, a lot of missteps in the previous regime, and I think they're a little desperate to get somebody in there. So Cameron Bynum, get a new team, go to the New York Jets.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to get a veteran corner. You know, obviously, I had Carlton Davis going there, but Cam Bynum's a good player.
Losing DJ Reed makes a lot of sense. I like it, Penik.
Totally.
Where's DJ
All right, I
Reed
got
going to
the
go?
next-
Still out there.
I know.
Chris Rose, done. Dot.
No.
Okay.
We got to get the top guys off the market, you know.
I know I do. And I'm just trying to think which one is most fun that I've got. I think I'll do it now. He's coming off an injury. He's already in his 30s. He's been a tremendously productive player in 3 stops now, even though we didn't get a full season of his most recent stop. You know who I'm talking about?
I know
Dalton?
exactly who you're talking
Are you
about.
doing Stephon Diggs?
It's on Reddick.
Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
Oh.
Packers.
There is no better place to send him for a shit show of a room than the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wow.
Oh, no. You
Oh.
can't put
Yeah.
him.
If that happens, Mike Tomlin is
No.
just a glutton for punishment.
Hey,
Him and
seriously, but
Pickens.
look at the way that they draft. They draft malcontent after malcontent in the second round. Why not just go pay a little extra money and go get a guy that we know he's been productive, but there are times where he can get a little. Wouldn't you pay to see a receiver room with George Pickens and Stephon Diggs in it?
No, I would not
would-
pay to see Stephon Diggs and George Pickens want to murder Justin Fields on the field. No, I think that's against the law to pay for that.
I was
Oh.
gonna say I'd pay to see them fight with each other because that's
Exactly.
bound to happen. But no way.
No way.
Ironically, Rose, I had him going to the rival of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I had him going to Baltimore.
I had him staying with the Texans.
Yeah, I think he's going to
Yeah,
stay in
well,
Houston,
with
too.
the report that Tank Dell just had ACL surgery,
He's out.
Yeah.
they're going to need something. They don't have a ton of cap space, and I mean, who knows how it was behind the scenes? I'm sure he was fine in his contract year, but I'll tell you, man, that could be so much fun watching Stephon Diggs on one side and George Pickens on the other. Woo! All right, I got another one here, and I got a lot of good players that I kind of want to set. Byron Murphy had a really good year.
He
He's a
did.
Pro Bowler. This team's already got one really good corner. They've got a ton of money to spend. The New England Patriots.
Mm.
We're gonna take care of that because I don't think they're gonna, even if Travis Hunter's there, I don't think we're gonna go that direction. As I told you, I think Vrabel goes offensive line early. This allows him to understand we got the secondary all taken care of there with the corners. He was a Pro Bowler a season ago. We're good.
Wow.
No reaction.
I thought you muted for a second. I was
Yeah,
updating my list.
Ours too. You cut out for like 5 seconds.
All right. All I'm saying is that Byron Murphy will be a New England Patriot
I love
and
that.
get massively overpaid, but good player.
Had a good year for sure.
All right, am I up?
You're up.
All right. I think this is going to be one of the more underrated signings of this offseason. Another former New York Jet,
Mekhi Becton.
Jamie Sherwood, I think is going to go to the Washington Commanders and fill that void and fill that gap that Bobby Wagner is going to leave. And I think that is going to be a very, very good signing. He is an athlete, and I think he's going to really help make that Commanders defense much better. And I don't think the Commanders are going to necessarily need to break the bank on Jamie Sherwood. So I
wouldn't be so sure about that.
Oh,
You could make a case that he was one of the Jets' better defenders last year.
Oh, he was 100%. But I think, I don't know, like an interior linebacker market that I think is a little overflated right now. And he was like the number 2 on that team. So
I think
I
I think the problem is that there's probably a bunch of teams that are looking for guys. As I mentioned, the talk of the combine was that the linebacker class is not the off-ball linebacker class is not very good. So I think like a place like Tennessee, who's got a ton of money, and might not be afraid to spend it, might try and overpay him. But I think he's interesting. All right, Dalton.
Bobby said about the cornerback class, I have for this free agency, I have no idea about these cornerbacks. One fit I kind of like just scheme-wise if they stay true, because they did make a change at defensive coordinator. Asante Samuel Jr. will stay in California, and he goes to the San Francisco 49ers. Samuel is pretty good in zone coverage. He's great with ball skills. My only question for this pick, now that I'm thinking about it, is that Robert Saleh is coming back for the 49ers defense. Does that change how they go man versus zone, defensively speaking? But Charvarius Ward is probably going to leave in free agency. He kind of said so himself. Rock Ya-Sin, Isaac Adam are also free agents this class, so they're going to need a cornerback. And throwing a dart here, I think Asante fits well for what they did last year.
Yeah, the only thing is he's coming off of an injury where we saw him about 3 games last year.
I was going to say like 3 to 4 games. That's a big thing. And he looked a little shaky before that in the Jesse Minter defense too. So I understand, but bounce back candidate, going to a defense that should also bounce back next year too with some changes.
Okay.
All right, let's get the cornerback floodgates going, because I'm going to get a former Robert Saleh corner, DJ Reed. Every time I watch this team play, I'm like, how do they get by with these corners? And it's the Arizona Cardinals. DJ Reed to the Arizona Cardinals. They have a lot of cap space. They need to spend on their cornerback room. Like they've been 2 years with a defensive coordinator as their head coach and not having a cornerback group. DJ Reed to the Cardinals is going to be my swing there.
I had him going to Jacksonville. They were a dumpster fire on defense last year.
Yes.
That could make a lot of sense too. And then this is I would like to actually I probably wouldn't like to see it, but he fits a Dan Quinn defense. Hassan Reddick to the Commanders. No one's talking about him after last year for obvious reasons because of the holdout with the Jets and then getting there and not doing a ton. Son of a bitch, Justin got 5 points.
What?
Zach Bonds re-signed with the Eagles.
You're kidding me. For how much?
3 years, $51 million.
Wow, that
unbelievable.
Feels light. Really? By the way,
3 for 51. It was what was the number?
Yeah.
He got more than 5 points. He got 15 points.
I'm winning.
He was a Pro Bowler last year and a Super Bowl champ.
Holy cow.
I did have him staying with the Eagles too. So that was a good pick by Justin.
Yeah.
You guys think I just didn't see him going anywhere else other than what he had in Philly, and Philly wanted to keep him.
That was the guy I thought would stay on the Eagles defense. Like Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, I thought they were out. But yeah, Zach Ball was the guy that Philly had to keep. Great pick, Penik.
Thank you. The spreadsheet has shown that I am 15 points ahead of everybody else.
I think there's like a legit chance that's the only pick Justin ends up getting right, though.
I think that's also a good chance.
But yeah, I'm going to go Hassan Reddick to the Commanders. He's that quick, a little bit of a lighter edge, but he's just going to be a disruptor. His market may not be what it was imagined to be a year ago or 2 years ago. He's a great fit with the Commanders, so he goes and joins Dan Quinn.
Okay. Don't you have another pick?
I took DJ Reed to the Cardinals.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. All right. So Dalton?
Back on the clock I go. Connor, if you were shaking your head for Russell Wilson, get ready for this one. I don't have a great feel for the running back class either, because this draft is littered with so many talented running backs. So I'm curious to see where guys like Aaron Jones and Najee Harris sign and for how much, because I think teams are going to wait on these guys in the draft. That said, for some reason, when I close my eyes, I see Najee Harris as a Raider. I don't know what
God,
it is.
you're an asshole.
That room was horrendous last year. Like, I'm sorry about Amir Abdullah, Sincere McCormick, Brandon Bolden, Zamir White. Like, they had so many guys, and none of them are really that effective until really Sincere McCormick towards the end of the year. But Najee, give him credit for one thing. I know 1,000 yards isn't the most impressive stat now with the extra game, but 4 consecutive seasons with 1,000 yards, only running back to do that in the NFL. He will grind you down, and we know Pete Carroll back in the day loved that run game. I think Najee could be a bruiser for them. You bring in a running back in the draft as well as a complementary piece. It's a better run game than they had.
To be fair to Dalton, trying to recreate the Steelers' offense is something the Las Vegas Raiders would do.
Huh. Yeah.
2 steps back.
Yep.
Oh, man. Worst pick, guys. Russell Wilson to the Raiders or Najee Harris to
No,
the Raiders?
Russell Wilson could go to the Raiders.
What the hell about Najee? That's a fun one. Guys, I'm sprinkling in some fun here, baby.
That's
Najee
like
to the
the
Raiders.
most,
Get
like-
it going.
What is
That's
fun
actually
about
the least
3.8
fun
yards
pick on
per
all
carry?
of this.
It's the
Like Malcolm
the first
Kuth
guy
with the Falcons is actually way more fun than Najee Harris on the Raiders.
It's not fun
Think
because
of how
it
much
makes
fun
sense.
it's going to be when I get 10 points.
Yeah.
It'll be a blast.
You know that the third round pick running back the Raiders take will like average more yards per carry than him. It's going to be Jalen Warren all over again.
which is fine because I still get the points. It already happened. It's signed, sealed, delivered at that point.
All right, am I up?
You are up.
You are.
Some would say down, but I think you're up.
No, technically I'm 15 points up on everybody. Bobby, where's Darius Slayton gonna go? And I actually think like not just
I
putting
wanted
on
him
my
as my
Giants,
last pick as a nice goodbye to my friend.
not just putting on my Giants cap. I actually do think if you look at the wide receiver free agency market, like I think Darius Slayton is probably one of the more compelling names on there, especially when you consider how young he is, how explosive he can be, and just how bad the quarterbacks that have been throwing him the ball basically his entire career.
There's two options: the Chargers or the Steelers.
I'm going Chargers.
That's who I had too.
Yeah. So Darius Slayton to the Chargers. I think it just makes total sense. Justin Herbert gets a deep threat, and hey, add another receiver that maybe has a little bit of a drop problem.
Yeah, that's the same thought I had, Justin. I was like, I think he'll be a great fit in the Chargers, but there's a guarantee the Chargers lose a game on prime time with Darius Slayton dropping a pass. It's a guarantee.
And that'll suck because Darius Slayton will probably make a ton of good plays for them at,
It'll
whenever
be a
the
game he has
Chargers are-
95 yards, too, but he will drop a pass at the end of the game.
Yeah.
They'll lose on prime time, and it'll be a shit show.
Yeah, when the
I had
Chargers
him
are playing
going-
4:30 Eastern, he'll make these great plays, but national television, he'll drop the ball.
I had him going to New England. Their receiving, their
It's a great
receiving
fit
core
there, too.
was not much better than their offensive line room. It was horrific.
Yeah,
So-
that's it. I think that'd be a great fit for Drake May.
Yeah. Okay, so these are my last two picks. One I'm going to go with that makes sense, and one I think makes sense but is also fun, at least for me. The one that makes sense is Chase Young to Detroit. He actually, we didn't pay much attention to the Saints. He was a Pro Bowler a season ago. And is he great? No. I mean, he was the number 2 overall pick, and we all thought that he was going to explode and be this, 14, 15 sack a year guy, and he hasn't become that at all. But I think up there in Detroit, why not? Makes sense. They need more pass rushers, right?
Yeah.
It felt like Hutchinson still led them, even after he didn't play in week 6.
Oh, I'm pretty
So
sure
it's
it did.
Nuts.
Yeah. My last one, I have to preface it by saying I do believe that the Browns are going to trade up to 1 and take Cam Ward.
Wow.
And they need to revamp their entire quarterback room. And one guy who did extremely well under Kevin Stefanski, and I actually thought played his best football there,
PJ
was
Walker.
Jacoby Brissett. So I am going to bring him back as a guy who can be Cam's Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's got the respect of that entire organization. He actually played well under Stefanski. He was miserable last year in New England, just horrible. Barely threw the ball past the sticks. But for whatever reason, with Stefanski's fine, and I have to get my Browns in here somewhere with minimal amount of money. So there
Can
you
I
go.
ask you, how strong is your thoughts that the Browns will trade up to pick number 1?
I think they know that that's what they have to do in order to make sure your Giants don't leapfrog us. That's what I think. So I think they'll be willing to give up whatever it takes to move up one spot. I would
Wow,
say it's
can't
better
wait!
than
Can't wait
50.
for this to turn into a bidding war. Wow, terrific!
I know, isn't that horrible for both of us?
Jeez.
Horrible.
I'm just here eating popcorn, watching it.
I just don't want
enjoy,
you to
enjoy
Sanders.
Daniel Jones. Enjoy Daniel Jones, Dalton.
That's
Feely.
mean. That was mean. That was mean. I demand an apology.
Daniel Jones with the Colts is because no one pays attention to the Colts. He's going to have like a facelift next year, and it's not going to be super real, but he's going to have a facelift in that. Like Josh Downs, 80 catches. He'll now Alec Pierce out of the playbook, but the rest of the guys,
no
I think
vertical.
he can do decent with.
Yeah. Fair.
Michael Pittman, no contested catch. Josh
right.
Downs, get ready to catch a ball.
Who
Who's
do
up?
we have on the return here, Dalton?
think it's Penik.
Justin's
Or,
last
oh.
pick.
This is it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do a layup. I really hope the Minnesota Vikings bring back Aaron Jones. I think
That's
it
an
makes
easy
sense.
one.
I think I'll do a layup for my last pick. I think it just makes sense whether it's JJ, whether it's Sam. You don't want to go back to having a really bad running back room like he had 2 years ago. And Aaron Jones, I thought it was a steal of a deal 1 year. Reward yourself for finding that guy. Keep that guy in the building.
Plus, I think they only have 3 draft picks this year.
Yeah,
So,
you got him.
They're going to have to be really, really cautious with that thought process. All right, Dalton.
For my last pick, I'm going point hunting. Excuse me. The Dallas Cowboys, you stole my pick for Nick Bolton. That's where I had him going, but I can't take Nick Bolton anymore, so I'm going to give him a different linebacker, and I'm going to go with Bobby Wagner. He's staying in the NFC East. Eric Kendricks, 33 years old, upcoming free agent. Let's get an older linebacker in there. No, the Cowboys really need a veteran leader at this point at middle linebacker, at linebacker for the new Matt Eberflus defense. I'm really hoping Wagner doesn't retire just out of a blue as we're recording this. I wanted to put Dre Greenlaw because I think linebacker is a really big need for Dallas, but Bobby Wagner, he's a Super Bowl champion. Give me those extra points.
So that
All right.
actually helped me make a decision because I was thinking about doing Bobby Wagner back to the Commanders as a 10-pointer, even though it's not 100% sure, but Dan Quinn kind of had a vague response on it. But
I'm here to help, Bobby. You're welcome.
so all right. So one, I think we got to hit the quarterbacks on this, right? People would be mad if we didn't. So I just want to give an honorable mention of Tevin Jenkins to the Chargers, just because that would help their run game a ton. But he's injured, so they may not want to do that. Just an honorable mention. Wouldn't Mekhi Becton to the Bengals be funny? They just signed the biggest offensive lineman every single year, as honorable mention. But my real pick is going to be a layup. Justin Fields to the Steelers. It seems like he's staying there, no matter what they do at that other position. So I feel like we got to get Justin Fields in there somewhere. He stays home with Pittsburgh, which is, again, proves my point that quarterbacks not playing is truly the best possible thing for their image, because Justin Fields got benched, but because his first 4 or 5 games weren't like a disaster, his young talent is like he's probably going to get like his value probably increased this year.
I would agree with you. And before we go, I would have to say that I am looking at my team, and I think I am the most likely of the 4 to get 0 points. That's how I feel about my fantasy draft every year, that I'm going to finish 11th. And I feel that confident.
Okay.
Then you end up winning somehow, and you're a champion. It's a little reverse
I
psychology.
never win these things. I never win these things.
Really?
No.
You guys aren't going to believe this, but I actually think I'm going to win. So that's that's
shocked. Shocked by that.
I do want to put this out there for all of our listeners, because this is a fun episode. Everybody will inevitably look simply at the grid that we put out without the explanation, and they'll go, well, you guys have everybody going to the Patriots, or you have everybody going here. Why don't you have anybody going there? We are 4 independent contractors. Like, I don't care what Bobby and Justin and Dalton do with their selections. I look at it a totally different way. So when you say, well, there's 32 guys going, you don't have anybody going to this, you guys don't know football. You can think we don't know football, but this is the philosophy, okay? So we don't all think the same. We're not trying to build a fair and equitable NFL. We're trying to win. So that's what we're doing. I just want to make sure everybody understands that before you MF us.
Chris Rose, just know that fighting with graphic comments is an unwinnable battle.
I know, but I
you
just
will
want to
never
put it
win
out
that
there.
battle.
Not looking to win. I just want to at least get it on the record.
The best way to
Irrelevant.
do is just comment, be like, if you don't like my picks, S my ID. That's the only way to win a fight against the graphic comments.
Rose's
Wow.
face.
Well, I'm probably not going to put that out there, but all right.
Connor, I
Dalton
think we
will.
just
Duly noted.
Connor, I think we just found a new thumbnail face for Chris Rose.
Yeah. All right, guys. This was fun. Did you enjoy it, Dalton? Your guest visit?
Rose, Bobby, Penik, Connor, thank you for having me on. I feel honored. Hopefully my team comes out decent enough, but yes, it was awesome. Thank you guys.
I'm winning.
Also, a shout out to intern Sawyer, who did some great research for us. Really did an
Tom Sawyer.
awesome job at OA. So, Dalton, thank you very much for dropping by. And the next time we do this, I'm sure it'll be a blast. Feel free to come in and join us whenever. For Bobby Skinner, for Justin Penik, for producer Connor, I am Chris Rose. We will see you next week when the bidding begins here on Football Today.